Good morning, everyone. Well, it was a stormy night across much of Iowa, but particularly in the northwestern part of the state. That's where we had some supercell thunderstorms pop up, and they were intense. And one in particular was very intense. Take a look at the storm reports, and you can see lots of reports of hail. That was what was most common. Reports of penny-size hail, dime-size hail, quarter-size hail, but also some reports of golf ball-size hail in spots. Uh, Also, some strong winds reported, and at least one tornado that was caused by one particularly strong supercell thunderstorm. And we do know that it was a tornado because it was spotted by trained weather spotters, and they were tracking it. And we got reports of damage in Humboldt County, at least 2 homes damaged. Fortunately, no injuries. The question is, how long was it on the ground? Because Mason City, if you're waking up with us there this morning, you were under a tornado warning last night because that same supercell that caused that damage in Humboldt County tracked over Mason City. But the damage was more minimal. We did get a report of at least one tree down, some power lines down, some minor structural damage. And there certainly were some strong winds, but there was never any confirmation that the tornado was still on the ground. There was still rotation. So it's possible the tornado made it to Mason City and then just got past Mason City and lifted, or did it lift just before Mason City? And basically you had some leftover strong straight line winds. And there was some hail reported in Mason City as well. The Weather Service is going to take a closer look at the damage in Mason City and see if it was caused by that tornado that was over in Humboldt County or if it was just straight line wind damage. So that's what happened. Now let's talk about what's next. And for most, the severe threat is over, unless you're in the Quad Cities, where this afternoon the chance for severe storms is going to come back. 8 a.m. this morning, though, just some leftover showers around the Quad Cities and maybe some isolated rain and snow showers farther west, where it's a lot colder this morning, but it'll be a lot warmer in the far eastern part of the state. Let's jump ahead into the afternoon, though. When does the severe threat begin for the Quad Cities? Notice that in most of the state, you're just seeing that light shade of green or even purple, or there could still be a rain-snow mix, but look at those shades of orange showing up just to the south of Davenport about 1 o'clock. I'm not going to rule out the possibility that maybe it'll already start to be pushing into the Quad Cities as early as 1 o'clock. Right now, it's looking like the most likely time that there are going to be storms in the Quad Cities, 2, 3 o'clock. It's probably mostly going to be heavy rain and lightning, but could there be some strong wind gusts, some hail? Not going to rule it out. We got to keep it as a chance. I think the latest you might still see some storms is about 4 o'clock. But by 5 o'clock, I think it's only going to be leftover showers. It's still a good chance of rain for the homebound commute in the Quad Cities. Meanwhile, Mason City, Sioux City, all dry. We're leaving a small chance for some rain for the homebound commute. Waterloo and Cedar Rapids, the best chance is going to be in the Quad Cities. When is all the rain out of here? I think that is 9 o'clock this evening. We'll be rain-free in the state. So zoom in on the Quad Cities. Again, I do want to stress that the severe threat is small today. You're just barely in the chance for severe storms. You're in that marginal risk for Muscatine, Davenport, Moline. The greater risk is definitely to the east. But basically, when you're under that marginal risk, it means there is a chance. The chance is not zero. So what are we concerned about in a worst case scenario? Again, what's most likely is just heavy rain and lightning, a nuisance. But if a storm overachieves, it could produce some penny-sized hail. That is a possibility. And what I think is slightly more likely is a storm that could produce up to 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. More likely, just gusty winds, 30, 40 miles per hour. But again, if you get one of those stronger storms, maybe it could produce up to 60-mile-per-hour winds. Not worried about tornadoes in the Quad Cities today. At most, if you get a couple of storms to work over you, we could see up to 2 inches of rain. But it's usually not until you see 3 inches of rain that we start to see flooding occur. So not worried about flooding in the Quad Cities either today. Let's wrap up talking about temperatures. Look at the huge difference across the state. So the reason why there's still a severe threat in the Quad Cities is because the high today, 65 degrees. Even Iowa City getting up to 67. But everybody else on the other side of the cold front, 54 for our high in Waterloo, just 47 in Mason City, 46 in Sioux City. Windy for everyone, even if you don't see those damaging wind gusts, which again, is pretty unlikely in the Quad Cities. Everybody's going to be seeing gusts 30, 35 miles per hour today. It's going to stay breezy tonight, and it's looking like a cold night, mid-20s out west. But even for the Quad Cities, getting into the low 30s and a wind chill factor with those gusts 20, 25 miles per hour for much of the night. And then tomorrow, everybody's seeing below normal temperatures. A high of just 53 in Davenport, 49 in Waterloo, 48 in Sioux City. But I think the biggest story is going to be the wind tomorrow. It's going back up. I got to call it a very windy day across the state. Out west, gusts around 45 miles per hour, but I'm not going to rule out a couple of isolated 55 mile per hour wind gusts in the eastern part of the state, including the Quad Cities.